Well, hello, long time no see. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Hi, how are you doing? I know it's been such a long time since I even uploaded anything, and here I am looking like shit today with no makeup or anything on. This is going to be kind of a little impromptu video today because I have some content planned that I want to do, but it's just getting the time around work and everything to do it at the moment. So I'm like, okay, let me film this little impromptu video because I've seen some stuff going on and I need to talk about it, because if I don't, I think I might explode or something. So today I'm out here in a really gorgeous park near where I live. Honestly, like, you could be anywhere in this park. You could be anywhere. It is gorgeous. You got the river over there, you got tennis courts over there, which you might be able to hear people pinging their balls about back and forth. Sounds good, doesn't it? Anyway, yeah, you got the river over there, you got boats, people sailing along there. There's a path that runs all through the park, and I'm sat in the little pavilion here, of course. I absolutely love it here. This is like one of my favorite places on earth. Really, I love being outdoors in a park when the weather's nice, and in England, you know, we've got to make the most of it when the weather's nice. So anyway, that's enough rambling. Let's get into this video, because I'm sure you're all here for the gossip and the tea and not the tour of where I live. But you know, I think this is something that has got to be talked about, because unless you've been living under a rock in terms of beauty drama, then you will have seen everything going on with James Charles, Jeffree Star, Raw Beauty Christie. So I've been seeing a lot of drama channels at the moment making videos talking about how influencers like Manny MUA, Raw Beauty Christie, Nikki Tutorials even, all these people have still been supporting James Charles, even in spite of what he did back in like 2019, what he was still doing after then as well. Now, I really don't want to go too much into what James Charles actually did, because other people have made videos on that. You've had people like Petty Page making videos on it, where she detailed how he was speaking to 14-year-old boys. Come on, 14-year-old boys. If you are James Charles with millions of followers talking to 14-year-old boys, what does that say about you? You know, that is out of order. The kids are being groomed by somebody who has millions of followers, and there's a huge power imbalance between those kids who are fans and somebody like James Charles with his status, his millions of followers, all of that stuff. So much wrong there, you know, so much that shouldn't be happening, of course. And I've talked about that many times over here on my channel. So I really don't want to go too much into actual James and what he did, because that was all sort of 2-3 years ago. And while I think it's important that we don't forget, the topic at the moment seems to be everybody who's allowing and sort of enabling James Charles to continue with his millions of followers on YouTube, TikTok, IG, all these social media platforms. The topic seems to be like, okay, well, let's hold these people accountable. You know, are they guilty by association because they're following James Charles? People like Raw Beauty Christie, people like Nikki Tutorials, as I said, Manny MUA, Laura Lee. Laura Lee went to his painted launch party. Patrick Starr went to his painted launch party. And then you've got people like Michaela Nogueira, who invited James Charles to her wedding, and James Charles attended her wedding. She put the photos of it up on her IG stories and everything like that. So they're all very publicly still supporting James Charles in spite of what he did. James Charles came out in a video, admitted it, said sorry to his victims, and then deleted that video. So James Charles has admitted to doing wrong, to doing what he did, then taken that apology video, if you want to call it that, then taken that down. And now we're here where he's continued to make content, you know, without any kind of consequences, any kind of punishment. Nothing has happened to him. He's just been able to get away with it and fly under the radar. And all these influencers who also have millions of followers, but not as many as James Charles, are still clinging on to him for the clout that they inevitably get from him. by, you know, showing his painted makeup in their stories. Manny MUA, Kim Kardashian, who else? Michaela Nogueira, she put up a thing on Instagram. Oh, shall I review James Charles Painted? So they're all, you know, publicly supporting James. And James has just gone totally unpunished for what he did in talking to minors, the youngest being like 14-year-old boys. Sexting minors, trying to solicit nudes from them, all this kind of stuff that was really, really dodgy. So he's gone unpunished. He's not going to get punished. I don't see him ever getting punished for what he did. Then the other day, Jeffree Star was on the Dumb Blonde podcast with somebody called Bunny, who I didn't know of before. And Jeffree Star decides to come on and say his piece about James Charles. Oh, you know, this person's dangerous, this person shouldn't be free, whatever. You know, he said his piece about James.
This is a tricky conversation, so let me word this the right way. I got cocky and thought that I could expose someone else's trauma and story to X out someone else. That person did not want me to. Therefore, this person is still free. And to see this person still out there, they're not thriving like they used to be at all, is just interesting. But the industry does have demonic snakes.
Yeah.
He's the biggest piece of shit in the beauty industry.
Wow.
And he
really?
allegedly has done a lot of horrible things. He admitted to talking to minors. He is a fucking piece of shit.
So that is true. I always stay out of the drama.
He did a video allegedly, not allegedly, admitting to minors. One of the most vile human beings on this planet. And I have never really talked or addressed these things, but he is a literal fucking monster. People aren't ready for the truth. Everyone wants to keep their mouths shut, and they keep... Why?
Right.
If someone is bad, let people know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, I was going to come out and, you know, expose this person with a voice memo. I was going to come out, expose this person with a voice memo from one of his victims. His victim didn't want me to do that, which this to me is problematic in the first place, because if you're Jeffree Star and you've got a voice memo from a victim who's been assaulted in the sexual way, if you've got that, then why don't you take it to the police rather than just coming out on social media as he did in 2019 and saying, oh, James Charles is dangerous to society, right? If you've got that much damning evidence about James Charles being, you know, a criminal, being a word, you know, if you've got that evidence, then get him punished, you know, take it to the police, get him punished for it. Surely, right? But no, that's not what Jeffree did. Jeffree decided to hold on to that voice memo, say, oh, okay, the victim doesn't want me to release it, so I'm not going to release it. After he'd announced to everybody on the internet that he had that voice memo. So it's a bit like, okay, Jeffree, if you're not going to shit, then get off the pot. You know, if you're not going to release that voice memo, which, okay, for me, at first I was like, oh, the victim should be the only one to tell their story. Now I'm at the point with Jeffree Star where he keeps teasing this voice memo, teasing it on the Mum's Basement podcast, teasing it like on social media when he came out on Twitter or whatever and said, oh, you know, James Charles is a this. So yeah, Jeffree's been teasing this voice memo. Like I say, if you've got that, take it to police, let them deal with it, let them punish James, right? That would make sense, yeah? To any normal person. Jeffree Star moved to Wyoming, distanced himself from all these influencers, all the drama, kind of washed his hands of the situation until coming out on this podcast with Bunny and saying, oh, this person is still free because someone didn't want me to release this voice memo. Well, release it. You know, release it then. Release it to the police. Release it to people on social media. Release it, because if at the end of the day, James Charles is really as bad as Jeffree Star says he is, then we all need to know, right? Everybody needs to know, because he's a criminal. All the little 12 and 14-year-olds that support James Charles need to know. Surely, right? But no, that's not what Jeffree did. He went on a podcast, teased this voice memo yet again, without releasing it. What good is that? How does that help anybody? It doesn't. So at this point, I'm kind of like, okay, if you're not going to release it, then just don't fucking say anything. Don't say anything. I've got my coffee here, my little Greg's, good old British Greg's coffee here, and chilling in my little pavilion. And this is bringing me on to the second part of this video now. Part 2, here we go. We're dragging someone else now. Part 2, Rich Lux. Oh, Rich Lux. Now, I've been watching a couple of videos recently from Rich Lux where he stuck up for Jeffree Star. Oh, Jeffree's telling the truth about James Charles and all of this, right? Jeffree's telling the truth about James Charles. That's amazing. Yeah, we should like saint Jeffree Star for coming out and telling the truth about James Charles. So we should saint Jeffree Star for teasing that voice memo yet again, for the probably 10th time in 3 years that he's been teasing that fucking voice memo. We should saint Jeffree Star for that. Should we, Rich? Really? No. He's not getting any praise from me for that. Sorry, no. No. But yeah, Rich Lux is there trying to saint Jeffree Star in his most recent videos. The Jeffree Star comeback tour. Jeffree didn't lie about James Charles or whatever it was he put on the title. Jeffree Star's a hero because he's come out and exposed James Charles again. No. We're not going to do that. We are not going to do that. No. You know, it just shows me that Rich Lux really didn't care about the 14-year-old boys that James Charles was in contact with. Because if you did, you wouldn't be there trying to saint Jeffree Star, who was one of the, like, common denominators in all the Dramageddons, and somebody who, you know, pissed off everyone in the beauty community with his bullying and his actions. You know, it annoys me, you know, it really annoys me, because Rich Lux, I caught him liking James Charles painted posts as well. So if Rich Lux is going to be making videos about Raw Beauty Christie, you know, following James Charles, Nikki Tutorials, Manny MUA, anyone else who follows or supports James Charles, why does Rich Lux follow James Charles and like his posts if he thinks that James Charles is grooming children? So that just shows me straight away that Rich Lux, you do not care about the children that James Charles is grooming or has groomed. You do not care. It's two-faced as well. It is two-faced, it's hypocritical of somebody like Rich Lux to be liking up James Charles painted posts and all of that stuff, and then making videos like dissing him. And this video isn't me sticking up for James Charles at all. No, I think he should be punished for what he did. I really do. But it's difficult when you've got people like Jeffree Star withholding the evidence and, you know, sort of manipulating the situation. And then you've got people like Rich Lux in the drama community, drama commentary community, making their videos, you know, saying how terrible James Charles is, but then liking their Instagram posts. Make it fucking make sense. Make it make sense. That is all I want. That's all I'm asking. You know, either James Charles is a terrible person, a criminal, and we shouldn't support him. Nobody should support him. Or did Jeffree Star lie about the situation and manipulate it for his gain? Which is it? Because you can't be making videos about James Charles, the Predator, all of this, and then liking his posts. It doesn't make sense. Really, I can't get my head around that. Why would you do that, Rich? So, that's me calling Rich Lux out anyway. But, you know, it's got to be done, because people watch Rich Lux videos and they're like, yeah, go on, yeah, woo, Jeffree called James Charles out. But who's calling Rich out for his behaviour? You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm gonna leave this video right here. Sorry, I know it's a bit shit lighting and everything because I'm sat here in this comfy little pavilion, but it's lovely here. I love it. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it here for now. Let me know your thoughts on the situation, and I will be back soon with more content about Drag Race, UK Drag Race, because of course all that's come out now, the promos for that and everything. And I'm gonna also have more content about other influencers like Jojo Siwa, because as we saw, Jojo Siwa came out on the Howie Mandel podcast and she said some things about Colleen Ballinger, so I was going to do a video about that and also some other kind of beauty people. Hello, my darlings. Oh, you're gorgeous. I'm sorry, I didn't bring you any food. Mean, aren't I? Oh, you're beautiful. Oh, look, comes another one. Oh, they're like, yeah, F you, you didn't bring us food. You're boring. Oh, they're so cute. Oh, but yeah, you're not really supposed to give any food to the ducks or geese or swans in here. I just feel guilty when they're looking at me, look. And I'm like, sorry, babies. Oh, babies. Sorry, no food. I said you're not allowed, friends. Hey, Gordina. Oh, they're so beautiful. See, you don't have to go abroad to have a nice time. England is fine. I'll be back. Take care of yourselves, guys. I love you. Thank you for watching if you made it this far, and I'll see you soon. Bye.